For the 2,100 students at Southwest Minnesota State College in Marshall, Minnesota, the Golden Mustang swimming team provides an opportunity to cheer a winner. Let us examine the 4 competitive swimming strokes. The backstroke start is in the pool. On the take your mark, the body is curled up like a spring. At the gun, the push is up and out. Competitive backstroke racing began in 1903. The body lies flat in the water with the head low to prevent hip bend. Arms are brought over the head and their hands begin their push down and back toward the feet. The kicking action resembles the kick when kicking a football. Competitive times for 100 yards, about 54 seconds. Stroke turn, one hand touches the wall, then the swimmer flips and pushes off with his legs. The butterfly start begins from the starting blocks, and the kick and stroke begin as soon as the body surfaces from the shallow dive. The butterfly, commonly called the fly, was the last of the 4 strokes accepted for international competition after the 1952 Olympics. It is the second fastest of the 4 strokes, but is undoubtedly the most strenuous. The hands are brought overhead in unison, and the legs execute a dolphin kick in unison. Competitive times for 100 yards, about 53 seconds. In making the butterfly turn, both hands must touch simultaneously, and at the turn and the push, the body must be flat. The breaststroke start is from the blocks. The dive is deep enough to allow one hand pull and one kick underwater before surfacing. The breaststroke is the oldest method of swimming and was the only competitive stroke until the end of the 19th century, when the front crawl began. The head must break water at all times, and the arms must be on or below the surface. Competitive times for 100 yards, about 60 seconds. Both hands must touch simultaneously and then push off with only one underwater stroke allowed. The freestyle start is a flat, shallow dive from the blocks with as much distance as possible. Dayhuff, come back to the blocks and take that pike out of your start. That is much better. Flat, shallow, good distance, and a fast stroke pickup. The first time the front crawl or freestyle stroke was used in competition was in 1873 in a race in London. The The powerful arm action is the most important part of the stroke, with the flutter kick adding balance and speed. It is the fastest of the 4 strokes. Competitive times, 47 seconds for 100 yards. The freestyle turn is a tumble turn with the swimmer driving toward the wall, then pushing off with the feet. The hands are not required to touch. Diving competition in college meets is from the 1 and the 3 meter boards. Points are awarded by the judges according to the degree of difficulty of the dive and in its proficiency of execution. The judges go along with the gag and award 6 points. It takes more than swimmers to make the swimming machine function. Here, the timettes are clocking splits, or times for parts of a race in a backstroke event. At times, the timettes just generally add to the decor. Judges' table, where the scores are compiled and the times are recorded. It is here that the swimmers report to the clerk of the course. By timing parts of races, the timettes aid the coaches and swimmers in post-meet critiques by enabling them to better pace their laps. A stopwatch gives times in 1/10 of a second. In a sprint race, this equals about 8 inches. In a meet, the starter's gun activates the electric timer. The swimmer touches an electric plate in his lane, which stops the electric timer and gives his time in 1/100th of a second, or measures differences by as little as 2/3 of an inch. In case of a false start, the girl drops the rope. The cheerleaders are usually there at home or away. Lap cards are held by teammates so distance swimmers can identify their positions. The announcer is testing before the Eau Claire meet. Coach Tom Pryor and the Eau Claire team ranked 7th nationally. The medley team gets off to a good start with a win as the judge carefully watches the takeoffs. Minutes, 49.69 of a second is a good time. The coach obviously approves. Broyles won both the 500 and the 1,000-yard events. With times of 1:53.49 and 1:53.84 in lanes 2 and 4, Christofferson and Brezina are 1-2 in the 200 free. Wins the 50-yard free. The scoreboard shows the order of finish and times. Each school has 3 lanes in the dual meet, 2-4-6 or 1-3-5. Fallon continues the winning streak with a first in the individual medley, in which the individual swimmer swims each of the 4 strokes for 50 yards. After 5 events, 5 wins and a 30-13 advantage for the Golden Mustangs. Is this a nervous diver, or is Huff just warming up? Con Ekstrom, the diving coach, isn't tense. He always chews like that. On the 1-meter board, Huff and Selski pick up 4 points. Moen and Brezina come in 1-2 in the 100 free. It is hard to tell if Don Palm is coach, cheerleader, or proud father. At times, you can tell how Southwest is doing just by watching the faces in the crowd. Well, you can't win them all. In the 3-meter diving, Selski and Garmin got 4 points. This brought the Southwest team to 58 points, and 57 points are enough to win a dual meet. 400 free relay team in which each swimmer swims 100 yards. The team added a final 7-point win for a final score of 65 to 48 after 13 events. Throughout the season, Southwest State Mustangs compiled a 12-win and 4-loss record, losses being to the University of Iowa and University of Minnesota. The University of Nebraska avenged last year's loss, and the Mustangs sustained a loss to Northern University of Iowa. Co-Captain Jones graduates this year. However, Co-Captain Mike Fallon will be back next year. Intercollegiate Conference Championships in St. Cloud, the Mustangs were able to garner 11 first-place trophies and enough points, 612, to win the conference championship, and in the process defeat nationally ranked Bemidji State, who were second with 572 points. Free Minnesota State at Marshall 1, 2, 3, 4. Championship trophy will reside at Marshall this year and hopefully in the years to come. During the year, the following swimmers qualified for the Nationals. Grell in the breaststroke, Ryan in the backstroke, Larson in the backstroke, Fallon individual medley, Dayhuff in the 50-yard free, Moen in the 50-yard free and the 100-yard free, Broyles in the 500-yard and the 1,650-yard free, Ryan, Grell, Luke, and Moen in the medley relay. Moen, Broyles, Dayhuff, and Brzezina in the 400 free relay. Broyles, Higdom, Christofferson, and Brzezina in the 800 free relay. Divers, Selski, Garmin, and Huff not shown qualified for the Nationals. The winning coach is always dunked, and Mr. Palm richly deserves this honor.